Hey guys, it's Brian with Retired at 40, and it's that time of the year, if you're like me, where you just have tons and tons and tons of extra produce from the garden, and if you don't do something with it, if you don't eat it or store it somehow, it's just gonna go to waste. And if you're like me and lots of other homesteaders and gardeners and other freeze dryers, this is the time of year when the Harvestright really earns its keep. Because instead of having to give this away or throw it away even, we can save it. And not only can we save it for a year, like if we were canning or doing something like that, we can save it for 15, 20 years, maybe even more. And in this case, we're talking about 50 or maybe even 60 pounds of fresh garden green beans. I love it. We love them as a snack. They rehydrate really well. The worst part about it is the processing. So we're gonna do that now. And today we're gonna do freeze-dried garden green beans. The best way that we have found to freeze dry a green bean, whether you're just snacking on them or if you're going to actually rehydrate them, is just take the ends off each end, and then instead of just this giant green bean, into 2 or 3 bite-sized pieces about that size. They're gonna freeze dry a lot better. And now that I've processed 50 pounds of green beans the old-fashioned slow way, if anyone knows in the community how to do that a faster way, or if there's some kind of tool or something, please let us know, because I would love to share that. Garden green beans are full of dirt, mud, gunk, and possibly bugs, so we're gonna soak them for just a while. That'll help loosen up all that stuff. You can use a big pan like this. Sometimes we use one side of our sink like this, and usually after they've soaked for a little bit, you can just kind of agitate them and a lot of that stuff will just come right off. Then we're gonna rinse. We're gonna go into a pot of boiling water. And you want the water to already be boiling. We're gonna add our green beans. We're gonna blanch them for 2 to 3 minutes. We're not trying to cook them, just to blanch them. And I know I might sound like a broken record, but you wanna blanch all of your veggies. It's really gonna seal in those vitamins and nutrients, and it's really gonna help rehydrate it to the right consistency. Then I'm gonna strain these, and then I'm gonna rinse them one more time, and then we're gonna go onto the trays with them. When you strain them the final time, ideally you want cool water or cold water. You can actually put these into an ice bath as well. All right, next I'm going with some pre-cut parchment from Freeze Drying Supplies, and you'll see why in a second. If you're using this for a snack like we are, we like to season them before we freeze dry them. The parchment paper keeps all that seasoning onto the paper, and then you can actually, what doesn't stick to it, you can reuse it, or you can also pour it into the bag with it. Okay, into the deep freeze tonight, and tomorrow we will go into the freeze dryer. Lots and lots of frozen green beans now. And we've had lots and lots of talk about doing green beans on the Facebook groups and the MeWe groups. So if you're missing out on that, you need to join those. And also, if you see any products that I'm using in this video that you think you could use, you can pick those up at freezedryingsupplies.com. And if you're considering buying a freeze dryer, please use our affiliate link. It really helps the Harvestright community because it gives us the chance to be able to produce this YouTube content. It allows us to do giveaways in the Facebook and the MeWe groups. It helps us stay up to date on the latest software and products that Harvestright and freeze drying has to offer. And it helps us develop products that will help you in freeze drying. And last but not least, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, Retired at 40 Live Life Simple, take a minute to do that. While you're there, click the bell to get notifications. That'll let you know every time a new video comes out. And for us, that's every Sunday at 8 a.m. And if you like the content that we're putting out there, just do us a quick favor and give us a thumbs up. And we're loaded with frozen green beans, soon to be freeze-dried green beans, and we'll see you when they're done. 47 hours and 29 minutes. That should be done. You can see this is the first full cycle I've run with the newer oilless pump, the scroll type pump. Let's see how it did. nice and crispy now. I have that Cajun seasoning on this top tray. Those are good. There's so much difference in the comparison between a garden bean and what you buy at the store. I'm going to use our food funnel and I'm going to bag these up. These top ones, we'll just eat these for snacks because they have seasoning on them. The bottom 4 trays we'll put in storage. And then we'll put some in a ball jar also so we can rehydrate those. Our 5 large trays with green beans, that got us 7 of these 2-quart Mylar bags and then this 1-quart ball jar as well. Okay, we're back in the kitchen and the $1,000,000 question is how are we going to get this green bean that has 0 water in it and will basically turn into powder if you want it to turn back into the green bean that you're used to eating. And I'm going to try some boiled water first because that's the most likely way you're going to try and cook green beans. Infusing the peas that I did last video worked so well. I think I'm going to do it again with the green beans. So I'm going to put just a dollop of butter in there. So once it starts soaking up some of that water, it'll melt the butter, pull in the butter into the green beans as well. And then I have some boiling hot water. And I'm just going to drown these. Dunk them to make sure that they're all covered. And then I'm going to cover them with some aluminum foil and just let them hang out. I think for maybe 5-10 minutes. We'll see if they're done. If they're not, we'll just, I'll keep updating you. So we went a little bit over. It's been about 20 minutes because I figured it could probably use the extra time. Let's see how these things are doing. You can see they're soft now. There's water coming out of them. So remember, these were actually blanched. They were not cooked all the way. So I think in order to get a fair assumption of whether or not these work, I think we need to boil them or cook them the way that we would normally cook them. So let's boil them. I probably should have just done this in the first place, but I wanted to see if we could get them into the state that they were in after we blanched them. Okay, now we're gonna go back into the bowl with some aluminum foil over. I'm gonna throw a towel over this so we can keep all of that heat in as much as possible. And I think I'm gonna let that sit for maybe a half an hour and I'll see you then. All right, well here's the test. These have been in for just about an hour, just under. And we've soaked them, we've boiled them. And that looks like a green bean is supposed to look like. And I gotta be honest, I didn't really think this would work this way. But those are just like garden green beans. It's strange to me to see that something can go from such a fragile state back to a juicy green bean like that. So the key to green beans is be patient with them. They're gonna take a while to rehydrate. This gives us another win in the win column, and if you've been watching these videos since I started making them about 3 years ago, that win column is really getting a lot bigger than the loss column. So keep that in mind if you're looking for a freeze dryer. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of the video, and thanks for doing another freeze-dried experiment with me. In the meantime, this is Retired at 40. Remember to live life simple, and we'll catch you next week.